Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Monday, March 18th of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully, you guys had a wonderful weekend. Let's go ahead and hop into these astrological transits for today so we can see how you can be better prepared to navigate these celestial energies. I'm going to go ahead and bring up, of course, that calendar for today. And yeah, we're going to essentially just see the moon is going to be squaring the nodes today. We're also, of course, going to be seeing Mercury making its conjunction to the north node and opposing the south node. And we are just 2 days out from the sun entering into Aries in the new astrological year. So definitely building up to that, and of course the rest of the week. And it's kind of crazy that we only have 13 days or so left of March. Year's definitely flying by. So let's go ahead and bring in the chart for you guys. It's been an interesting morning here already. Like I freak like my wife leaves for work, right? And um I just had this feeling, I had this gut feeling, and she left for work, and then I'm like, she's gonna call me within a few minutes, and lo and behold, she calls me, and she's like, there are like 4 or 5 cop cars coming into our complex, and I'm like, oh great, here we go. And turns out that we had a runner. We had someone that ran into our complex and tried to like hunker down at the freaking front office. And suddenly I just hear cops saying, "Get on the ground! Get on the ground!" I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, but it doesn't seem like anyone was. I mean, I don't know exactly what happened, but it doesn't seem like anyone was harmed. I mean, I didn't hear any gunshots or anything like that, but at least it wasn't anyone from the actual complex itself. But yeah, definitely, what a way to start a Monday to hear that stuff going on. I went outside and I kind of looked a little bit because I'm curious and shit. Like I didn't like, I just kind of looked from like our balcony. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like definitely an interesting start to the day. Anyways, y'all that come to hear me talk about that kind of shit, y'all came here for the astrology, right? So we have this set for 8:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have the moon here at 14 degrees of Cancer. It's going to be making squares over to this Mercury and to this North Node. That's going to be happening earlier in the daytime, of course, in the morning here. Regardless of where you are, at least here in America, this will be later. This will be like in the afternoon, of course, early afternoonish. If you're in Europe, of course, if you're on the other side of the world, it's a little bit later in your day. But we do see this moon that's going to be making this square. Now, of course, the moon does like to be in Cancer. That's its home. That's where it feels the most comfortable, of course. But we do have to take into consideration that this moon is still out of bounds. So, that means that its energy is going to be a little bit more exaggerated. And with the square to the nodes, it's even going to be more so challenged, especially with the Mercury here in Aries on top of this node. So this moon is definitely going to be kind of caught in a bit of a crossroads, right? North node with Chiron and Mercury, you know, we could definitely want to push the envelope a little bit today and really want to think forward and think about the things that we want to do, want to accomplish. But is our egos getting in the way? Is our ego's idea or philosophies kind of getting in the way? Are we actually like listening to the facts, or are we only listening to the facts of what we want to hear? Is Chiron super involved? Is the negative aspect of Chiron involved, where we are feeling like we are this helpless victim and we are just dominated in our life by our wounding and our trauma and our past, and we can't really see a way out of it? Or are we going to see the superpower there and not allow those things to dictate our reality, and to dictate our emotions? That's the interesting thing about this. Now, of course, we will see the moon also square Chiron today. That'll be a little bit later on, so it's coming after the North Node. So yeah, I think right now the universe is really wanting us to focus on a lot of these. I mean, and you got to also consider the fact that, these degrees in Aries, like this is around where the eclipse is going to happen, right? So we have the lunar eclipse that's going to be happening at 5 degrees, which means that the solar eclipse is going to be happening around, 20-ish, like 19, 20 degrees or so. So this is going to be this is already a very sensitive spot that the moon is going to be squaring here. So, you know, when it comes to this, and especially now, of course, that the sun is coming off of that conjunction to Neptune, everyone's a bit sensitive right now. We've gone through major shedding moments. All the energy is passing over Pluto. Now the sun's past Neptune. So we're going through some major shedding moments, some major amplifying moments with all of these conjunctions. Venus getting closer to Saturn, right? Mercury barreling is going to be on the North Node today, and it's going to be coming to Chiron. There's a lot of energy going on here. There's a lot of energy that is coming together and or separating, but they're still pretty close. Jupiter and Uranus are coming closer together. So we still have this bunch of energy, if you will, from Aquarius to Taurus. All the planets are there, except for the moon. And the moon's on a planet, but all of the planets are here. So when you have all the planets in 1/3 of the zodiac, in one quadrant, even you can say, but in 1/3 of the zodiac, when you have all the planets there, it makes things pretty pressurized. And you have to ask yourself, why in the world are we being so hyper focused on these particular areas? Why is there such a focus on the Aquarian energy with Pluto and Mars there? Why is there such a focus with all of the Piscean energy? Why is there such a focus here with all the Aries energy and the Taurus energy? It definitely does feel like we are shifting from an older world to a new world. And we are kind of going through a major review period of the things in the old world that could work, or what we have to, take into consideration when moving into this new earth. But there's also going to be a lot of people that are going to be still clambering onto the past. That's the other part about this. I think the Mercury on North Node is a great opportunity for us to tap deeper into, I guess you could say our destiny, if you will. But from a collective standpoint with this North Node, people are definitely going to be wanting to express and speak what they feel like their truth is, especially when it comes to who they are. And, that's the thing about this. Do you know who you are? And yes, who you are can transform and change over time. I'm talking about, like, do you know who you are, though? Or are you identifying with other people, other situations that you think will be good for you, or you think, or maybe you're projecting, like, maybe other people, like, this is what people want me to do, so that's what I'm going to do, but are you being really true to yourself? Or are you simply reflecting back and mirroring those other people? That are you looking for acceptance here? Are you looking to simply just fit in? That's the other part about this, especially with this moon squaring this, because it is going to square the south node as well. It's going to bring up relationships. A day like today will bring up relationships pretty hardcore, especially because Mercury is there. And like I said, Chiron. So relationships are going to come to the forefront on a day like today. And asking yourself, like, do these relationships resonate with where you are trying to go right now in your life? Or are they relics of what is to come to pass? Are we holding on to these relics? Are we holding on to relationships that no longer serve us? And we all do this from time to time. We all hold on, you know what I mean? But we are halfway to the eclipse now because the moon is squaring the nodes, which means that we are not that far away from a moment that is going to change relationships forever, especially when you have, and as soon as you have eclipses, it does impact relationships in a pretty big way. Now, especially considering the fact that this is going to be in Libra, some of y'all, like I said, relationships are going to end like abruptly, and some relationships are going to just come out of nowhere. That's the kind of energy with this sort of eclipse and its energy that's coming up. Is like, don't be surprised that certain relationships just like bam, done, and certain ones will just pop into your life. Now, of course, if you want to know exactly how it's going to happen for you or what area of life is going to happen, then you'd have to know, of course, your rising and know what house this is going to be in. But generally, just considering these eclipses are going to impact relationships in a massive way. Well, we'll see that moon also, of course, make sextiles over to Uranus at 20 degrees here. And it won't quite get to the trine with the Sun and Neptune. That'll be more of a tomorrow aspect. But I will say the main thing, of course, is that Mercury North node with the moon squaring the nodes. And like I said, whenever you have the moon squared to nodes, it does bring up some challenging aspects where emotionally we're going to be caught between, the South node in Libra and the North node in Aries. And trying to find the balance here is going to be difficult, especially considering the fact that we have Mercury and Chiron with the North node as well. So that doesn't necessarily make it easier just because it's the North node and it's generally like, oh, you generally want to go towards the North node. People generally like to look at North node positive, South node negative. That's very black and white. You don't want to look at astrology that way. But you also need to look at what else is there, right? I think it's interesting how the moon will square these energies while the South node is at 15 degrees of Libra, which is arguably the best degree of Libra, because since Libra is trying to find balance, that's exactly the midpoint of Libra. And 1 plus 5 is 6, which is the number of Libra and the number of Venus. So if there's a degree that the South node could be at that is positive, it's that degree. Because even though it's the South node, this is like, well, South node Libra, relationships that can come up from the past, whatever like that. Different people may just pop back into your life. This could be a good opportunity to maybe mend those kind of relationships. If there's been some fraying, if there's been some issues within those relationships, if you feel like you might have drifted apart, this could be a good time to potentially mend those things. It may be challenging and may feel uncomfortable, but this could be a good time to mend those relationships if you see fit. If you see that these relationships are something that will actually, help take you to the next level in life, then great. Or if you simply want to just get things off your chest. But the difficult part about this is that, yeah, North and Aries, express who you are, but Chiron is involved. How much of your hurt and your trauma is going to come through there? And are you going to be speaking from a place of empowerment with that energy? Or will you be speaking from a place of defeat, of anger? Yeah, remember, Aries is war, and it does rule anger. So are you going to be speaking from a place of anger, frustration, disdain? We have to take those things into consideration. So just because it's the North Node doesn't necessarily mean it's immediately positive. In many ways, with this moon in Cancer too, it's like trying to learn how to feel comfortable in these kind of situations and feel comfortable with the complexity that is human emotion, the complexity that is desires, wants, the complexity that is, personality. Personality can be complex. Who we are can be complex. Relationships can be complex. And it's not just simple, And I think that those are things that we have to take into consideration. And with this sun, of course, like I said, coming off of Neptune, which made things very weird. I don't know how your weekend was, but things could definitely be very weird. Very weird. Out there, austere. But now that the sun is beyond the veil of Neptune, it only gets to be at these last 2 degrees before it goes into Aries and it goes into its exaltation. So we're about to get this sort of injection of energy, of inspiration and motivation, but look where the sun is heading. And look what it's about to reveal. So that's the thing about this. Like, I think this is kind of one of those moments where it's like everyone has like if you think about like Harry Potter and shit, like how he has like the lightning scar and it burns whenever like it's almost like a weird superpower. Like that's his Chiron, right? That's Harry Potter's Chiron, is this scar. It burns when he's tapping into something or something dangerous about to happen, but like it'll burn. He'll be like, you know, we all have like a scar like that, if you will, that is getting ready to burn. It's getting ready to be like, and we can get so caught up on the pain itself, or we can be like, what is this trying to tell me? What is the message from this burning scar? And that's what we're building up to, right? The moon in Cancer, do your best to try and find some comfort through this. Do your best to, and it's also like make sure that make sure that the energy in your home is good. That's the other thing about the moon in Cancer. Make sure that the energy in your home is good. Call your mother if you can. You know what I'm saying? But, I think Monday is going to be a rather interesting day where emotionally we can be it can be a little topsy turvy. You can go back and forth between, yeah, definitely trying to appeal to other people, hopefully not overextending of ourselves with that South Node in Libra, but still trying to appeal to people and make peace. But then there's the other side of like, oh, well, you did this to me. Yeah, well, before I did that to you, you did this to me. Yeah, well, before that happened, you did this to me. Like that's what's happening too. Whether on the small scale or a larger scale, like between different countries, because that's how like violence just begets more violence, and innocent people get caught. It's like you have country A attack country B because country B attacked country A however many years ago, but country A had attacked country B, which caused country B to attack A, and it just goes back and forth. So how are we going to play this game? Who was the original aggressor? Does it fucking matter? Does it matter who the original aggressor was? And I think that's the game that we are playing right now as humanity. It's like, you're the original aggressor. No, you're the original aggressor. You're the original enemy. No, you're the original enemy. Doesn't fucking matter. Because the dark energy, it doesn't care. It's just going to keep that energy going because it's feeding off that energy and it's farming humanity's energy that way. The shadow side doesn't give a fuck who the original aggressor was. It's just going to keep that factory going and going and going and going. Y'all aren't ready for that channel. This tapped in just now. But that's what it is. So how long are we going to keep playing that game? This humanity. How long are we going to keep playing that game? Let's see what we have. Cards are a little jumpy this morning. They're a little jumpy this morning. Oh. Yep, I have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords. Yeah, we're definitely wanting to charge forward, fight for something, but we could definitely, there's a bit of a restless energy to today. There's a bit of a restless energy. Feeling like we have to get things done. Feeling like we have to do these things, otherwise it's a dire situation. And that moon is definitely going to have us kind of being like, oh my gosh, how do I balance all this? How do I balance these emotions? How do I balance, feeling like I have to do all these different things and I'm running out of time. And then also on this side, still making sure that I can appreciate life in general, you know, and appreciate those things and appreciate the simple things. But then feeling like I have to hustle hard and do all these different things because I feel like time's running out and I feel like I'm behind and blah blah blah. But then also appreciating my leisure time and not like, how do we balance all these different things? So there's a bit of a restlessness to the energy today with the Knight of Swords. I have that followed by the Knight of Wands in reverse. We have to make sure that we are fighting for the right things. And I think that's the major thing. We have to feel like we have to make sure that we're fighting for the right things, that we have the right motivations, the right inspiration. And I think that's like the most important thing here, because charging right into battle or charging right into something, but not having the conviction or not having the passion for that thing, and you're just charging right in just because you were told to charge in, or you're doing it for some other reason, then it's not really going to take you anywhere. It's not going to take you to a very creative kind of place, you know? So we have to ask ourselves, why are we doing these things? We have to ask ourselves, am I really passionate about this? Or am I just doing this for money's sake? Am I just doing this for whatever? No, we have to ask ourselves, is there passion here? Is there love here? Is there some sense of creativity here? Bottom of the deck, I do have the Four of Cups in reverse. The Four of Cups in reverse. I think this is we can't really just be apathetic about this either. We can't just, I think the universe is offering us stuff as well. The universe is going to be offering us little nuggets of information throughout the day, throughout the week, but it's going to be offering us bits and bits and bits. But we can't just sit there and just just take things for granted, because it will pass over you and go to a person that will actually appreciate it. That's how inspiration works. It's like if you get a cool idea for a book, do you think you're the only one that caught on to that signal? Do you think you were the only person in the world that caught that wave, that was tapped in? No, probably like 100 other people or 1,000 other people got the same idea at the same time. Now, are you going to wait around and not do anything with it? That's the thing about it. So there is a bit of like time is of the essence kind of energy here. But at the same time, we still have to ask ourselves the why. If we're passionate about these things, do we really want these things? What is the reasoning for it? And is this going to be something that's, spiritual nature? Is this something that can actually help other people and uplift the vibration here? So yeah, I think it can be a very powerful, inspirational day, but it will come with its fair share of challenges, like any day. Celebrate you. I love that. Celebrate you. Celebrate you without getting too caught up in your ego, without getting too caught up in, being super dogmatic, if you will. We don't want to be dogmatic, but we want to celebrate ourselves. We want to love ourselves. We want to appreciate ourselves. That's what we want to do on a day like today. That is going to do it for your daily astrology forecast. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey today. I would, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate that. It allows these videos to reach more people. And of course, I just, I feel like this information is very, very important. I want to make sure I can help as many people as possible. So if this message resonates with you, awesome. If it doesn't, just remember that this is just a daily astrology forecast for the collective. So it may or may not apply to you. You may or may not resonate with it, and that's okay. And there may be another video on here that does resonate with you. So be sure to like and subscribe because I make daily content. And y'all take care. Stay blessed. Have a wonderful Monday. I will see you all on the next astrology forecast. Peace.